Hey everybody, what's up? This is Jonathan, aka Revolutionary Cowboy, and this is my WCW World Championship Wrestling action figure collection. Now, before I get into detail about the figures, when they were made, what toy company made them, what series they're from, their accessories, and what they do, let me give you a little backstory about my longtime love of wrestling, which I actually didn't become a fan of wrestling until 1998. Which was the height of the Monday Night War, when WCW was going to war with the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, or as you kids now know it as WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Well, which they don't call themselves that anymore, they just call themselves WWE because they don't want to, as a wrestling company anymore. Anyways, I got in around the time of the Monday Night War, when WCW Monday Nitro was going head to head with WWF, Raw's War, or Monday Night Raw as we now call it. And we all know who won that, unfortunately. And before that, I wasn't really a fan of wrestling. I mean, I knew who Hulk Hogan was, Macho Man Randy Savage. I was maybe familiar with some other wrestlers. Not so much by name, but maybe by the way they looked, like the $1 Million Man, the Ultimate Warrior, Big Boss Man, the Road Warriors. I came a few others, but I didn't really get to know their names until I was older and maybe already became a wrestler and fan. And my first exposure actually to wrestling was when my cousin Trey had this video game for the Nintendo 64 back at the end of '97, which was WCW versus NWO World Tour for like I said, for the Nintendo 64. And at that time, I still thought Hulk Hogan was a hero because, like I told you, I didn't start watching wrestling until '98. And a year before that, Hogan had just formed the New World Order with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. But I was still thinking he was a good guy. I was told by my cousin, no, Sting's a good guy. And, well, eventually I didn't get into wrestling until maybe about a little bit later in January when I was flipping through the channels one night and watched Nitro for the first time. And, well, got into that, and then later on got into Raw maybe about a couple months later. So that's about it of the little backstory. Now let's get into the story of my figures, which, of course, my first figure was actually of Sting. Now, it's not of this Sting right here. I didn't get this Sting till later on, till maybe about a year later. But my first figure of Sting actually was from the original San Francisco Toy Makers WCW Monday Nitro set, and it was a set of 8 figures, which were about maybe a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet tall. I can't remember how big they were, and they had butt on the side, and they vibrated. That's kind of weird. I guess it's supposed to be the rumble action, like they do with controllers. Anyways, it was a complete set of 8 with Sting, Hollywood Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, the Giant, Lex Luger, Chris Benoit, and the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. I had all the figures but Luger and Giant because my friends already had those figures, and I later on got rid of those 6 I had because I would later get new versions of the figures. So of course don't have those anymore. Now there's many more that I've had that I've gotten rid of. So let me go down the figures I actually do still have. First, starting with the Giants, or as maybe you may know him as now as the Big Show in WWE. Yeah, back when right here we had more hair. Now he's bald. Of course, this one was also made in '98, about months after the Nitro set. Well, maybe those first made in '97. I can't remember. I think they were '97. This was for '98, though. Much smaller. Of course, there's a button in the back you press. And yeah, as you can see, the paint is chipped because I took figures out of the box, so I used to play with them. Because I was still pretty young at the time. He does the double axe handling, and as you can tell, the arms are bad. They don't work as well as they used to. Okay, the next figure, of course, is of Mr. Buff Bagwell, Buff Daddy. Buff is the stuff. This figure unfortunately does not work anymore. I can't really move it that well. He doesn't do the bionic elbow like he used to do. And you can tell this is a very crappy figure. Look how small he looks. I like the figures they made for him later from Toy Biz, but I guess it's an okay figure. It's the only one I have. And the last figure I had to show you that's out of the box, I have a couple more I will show you towards the end of the video that I bought later on, as I actually start to appreciate figures' value, start keeping the box. This, of course, the Master of the 619, Rey Mysterio. Back during his WCW days, of course, the smallest figure in the collection, and he actually still works pretty well. He kicks. So, of course, that's the end of those figures. For now, I'll show you the other 2 later. Later on, towards the end of '98, beginning of '99, WCW had already started making better figures with Toy Biz, the company that made X-Men and other Marvel Comics action figures. And the first series was the Smash and Slam series, and I I'll try to remember all the names of figures as I can because I have a list. I had to look all these figures up. It's been really years since I bought any of these. The first one I bought from them was, of course, one of my favorites, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Which, he was not my first Macho Man figure. I had another Macho Man figure prior to this one, which was from the original San Francisco toy makers of the figures I just showed you, and was in his Madness black and white attire, and did like a thing, the bionic elbow or something. I can't remember what the heck he did. Or it was probably double axe handle. Yeah, I think that was it. Well, anyways, this one kind of does the same thing, double axe handle, but he also has a steel chair. Unfortunately, though, this is one of the first casualties of squeezing his legs, which I squeezed him too hard, broke his leg, the leg over here with the NWO on it. Tried to glue the leg back on, but couldn't do the squeezing action anymore. Later, the leg fell off. Of course, because it was a steel chair, as I mentioned, and the vest is removable. And there were a few more figures in that set that I was lucky enough to buy. So let me go to the next one over here, the Lex Luger. Of course, back in his days of the Wolfpack, and this figure looks kind of bad. It looks like a monkey. Sorry if I offended any Lex Luger fans out there. Comes up a police line, and he does the torture rack action when he squeezes his legs, but he drops the figure onto. You can drop the figure onto the police line. I would show you, but it's real hard to do it when I'm using my iPod camera. I wish I had a camcorder. Behind him is another figure from the set, Dime Dust Page, with a steel barricade, and he's in the self-high-five position. And if you squeeze his legs, he can break the barricade. Unfortunately, like my Macho Man figure, it's broken, but he's still in one piece because the legs are still together. I can still squeeze the legs, but it won't do anything. The arms are kind of pretty much screwed up. So I can still do it with Luger, but just not with Savage because of his broken leg and Page. Well, I just can't squeeze the legs well. But here's a couple more that do work. Kevin Nash, the leader of the NWO Wolfpack, with a referee, and he does the Jackknife Powerbomb action. So yeah, if you want to test out I guess I have a test out. Yeah, your little test dummy here is the ref. And the last figure I have in that set is Scott Hall. Of course, was in the black and white. He's wearing his red and black attire. And then there was an alternate black and white attire, which I never knew that until I saw some videos on the internet about it. Because of a very crappy looking table that you can break, because Scott Hall does the outsider's edge, or razor's edge, whatever you want to call it, when he squeezes his legs. He's also missing a little curl on his head, and I'm missing one accessory for him, which was a Sting mask, because back then the Sting masks were very popular, and Scott Hall put a mask on, a t-shirt on, and Sting's trench coat when Sting was scheduled to have a match with Scott Hall for the title on an episode of Nitro, and Scott Hall was dressed up as Sting and ambush Sting. So yeah, I don't have that accessory anymore. I wish I did. It was pretty cool, and I sometimes would put the trench coat on him. Now another figure I have from the set, and I have it again, is Sting from the Smash and Slam set. Now this is the black and white version with a bat. And for anyone out there who did collect these figures like that I did, you will remember that the bat did not come with this version. It came with the Wolfpack version, which I did have the Wolfpack version, but I later on got the black and white version because Sting had stopped doing the Wolfpack gimmick because he had already returned back to his old black and white Crow gimmick. This one was in a 2-pack with Hogan, which was a remake of the Hogan from the exact same series, which the Hogan from the Smash and Slam series by himself was in his, just with his, tearaway shirt, sunglasses, pants, but the other one was Hogan wearing just a tank top, had no sunglasses on, and did the same thing as the other one, which somebody stole that figure. I was so ticked off. So yeah, this is pretty much, don't have the Hogan to go with it, or Sting wearing the belt, of course, that's what the accessory came with it, and the display stand. So, kind of sucks. I do have another Hogan, fortunately, but still sucks to have that stolen from me. So, I don't know how valuable Sting is by himself about that Hogan figure. Okay, of course, speaking of Hogan, the next one I have is a grip and flip figure of Hogan, which came in a 2-pack with Goldberg. And the accessories for that were a steel chair and a belt as Goldberg is wearing. The sad thing about this is, I no longer have the magnets for Goldberg. Which, if anyone who never owned any of those figures wonder how they work, there were magnets that grip their figures together, which was like this. I'm sorry if I'm not showing you very well. And this Hogan's probably going to fall over now, because these figures do not stand up very well. And I guess the figure I bought, figures I bought here, got them later on at Dollar General years later. These were released about at the end of 99 or so. So yeah, of course, Goldberg, we have the grip Hogan, flip him up, grab the chair, and also there was a little thing on Hogan's back that Goldberg could grip and throw Hogan up in the air. Now behind him is another figure I got years later, which was from the Slam and Crush collection. I think I'm saying that right. Of K-Dawg, Conan, which came with a trash can. If you press the lever, the trash can smashes. It's kind of broken a little bit, so it's kind of hard to put it back together. And it came with his hat he always wore. And he also came with his shirt, which he wore around his waist, and I've since have lost that. And another casualty of taking a figure out of a box. I didn't do this, though. My figure got stolen by one of my friends. Actually, he borrowed it because he was a big fan of Conan. I wish he would have asked me before he took it. And I'm thinking his little brother, who was a baby at the time, had ripped the hand off. So, yeah, that's advice, kids. Don't ever let anyone see your figures unless you want them to get stolen and get broken, or keep them in the box. Behind him, right there, or next to him, is Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin from the Ringmaster set. Comes with a removable leather jacket, just like Sting has a removable trench coat. Rick Steiner doesn't really do anything, but he does have an accessory. Of course, as you know, his gimmick is the dog-faced gremlin. So that's what it came with. And if you pull the chain on there, the dog moves its mouth. Let me see if I can demonstrate that for you. Yeah, like that. Alright, behind him is from the Bruiser series, another figure of Macho Man, which I was thankful to get this figure. And this might be hard to do, so I won't show you. But anyways, if you go behind the cage, there's a lever on Macho Man's back, and you can take the figure out of the cage. But anyways, he kicks the cage down. So that's almost about it of those three figures from Toy Biz. Got a couple more to show you. Of course, Bret Hart from the Ring Fighter series, which was a series of 4, and there was ones later released. Of course, the main series that came out was Bret Hart, Chris Benoit, Booker T, and Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. Each came with a little ring, a little half of a ring that you could, if you collected all 4 of them, you could put the ring together. And each one did a certain thing, you know, when you put the figure on the ring and press a little lever, like Bret Hart did a drop kick. I don't have that ring anymore, otherwise I would have it standing right there. And finally, the last one of my WCW Toy Biz figures is of Roddy Piper. See if I can remember what the name said. I gotta look at my list here. From the Power Slam series, which comes with a bagpipe, which shoots. You can squeeze in and shoots one of them like a missile, and jacket is removable along with his kilt and his knee pads. Okay, so that's it. The WCW Toy Biz figures. I have a couple more little things here from Toy Biz, which were of the Bash and Brawlers, which was WCW's version of the WWF Wrestling Blades from the early 90s. Now, I never got any of the big ones, but I did get the smaller ones, which here's Macho Man Randy Savage, which there was 2 versions of him. The black and white Madness attire, and then, of course, this one right here. And if you, of course, you squeeze his chest, you can't do it anymore. I don't have any batteries for him. The batteries are drained. And, of course, he says his name, and you keep hitting him, and he makes all the grunts. He's screaming at you to stop doing it. Then you lay him down and pin him. And the other one I have is, of course, a big, sexy Kevin Nash. So, yeah, of course, so those figures. The last figures I'm going to show you are the ones that are actually in the box that I bought years later at a garage sale. Actually, I think about 2 years ago. This one, of course, I did actually have this figure at one time. Not the one on the table, but actually of this one from the WCW original San Francisco Toy Maker Dove series of Goldberg, which I later gave to my friends. But this one I bought at a garage sale, and I was looking at this one. And the last one I'm going to show you is another one in the box from original San Francisco Toy Makers of Diamond Dallas Page. And of course, you see in the back, there's a button, and it shows you all the figures you collect, of course. DDP, Giant, Sting, Nash, sorry if I'm not holding this right, Raven, and some other figures, of course. Of course, Savage, I did have this one, but it was the one that action. That's just a posable figure, and see if I can show you on the back of this one. Going down memory lane? Nope, I guess not. No, okay, well then that's about it. Okay, well this video's going on about 13 minutes. So thanks for taking the time to watch this long-ass video, and I will be doing more long-ass videos in the future, and I will cut some short because I have a lot more figures in this. Of course, my next video will be of my WWF, WWE, Jakks Pacific collection. Out of the box, of course. I have a crap load of them in the box, too, and my Mattel collection, and my TNA collection. So I'll be showing those in future videos. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, and see any figures you liked, or if you had any figures you own, maybe ones I don't have, maybe want to talk about, feel free to comment. That's all. Rock on. And, if you like my videos, subscribe. Later.